Hi Year 6, Miss Mac here, just talking to you today about your writing. So today we're going to be editing and improving our work. So you can see on my screen here, I've got my writer's toolbox up. So just like we do in class, we have our toolbox on the wall on our English display. We're going to be using the toolbox a lot today to really help us to make sure that we're editing and improving our work in order for it to achieve its purpose for the audience. So for this, we've been writing our chronological report, so a report in date order, looking at the causes of World War II. This will be on our opening pages of our scrapbook, which we're going to be making, that you will then be able to share, compile all your work and share with your family and friends. And so make sure this is of a really good quality, something you're going to be proud of. So we're creating this timeline using those pictures. So really, we need to think a lot about that impact on reader and the techniques that that you've used in order to achieve that impact. So it's really important for our reader to understand what happened. So you've got to make sure that your writing has been clear. You also need to make sure the reader can understand when it happened. So making sure you're thinking about how you're linking those ideas, what adverbials of time you're using, and finally, why it happened. So have you shown that cause and effect using those subordinating conjunctions, the word bank that we had, and I'll scroll down to that at the bottom of our of the slides. So really important to keep referring back to this writer's toolbox when you're editing and improving. So we've got a few questions for you to really think about when you're reading through. So the first thing you need to do is read through your work, because we all know that sometimes we miss out a word or something, a sentence doesn't quite make sense. And it's really important that we read that through out loud to ourselves, just to make sure that we're not missing any of those words or made any silly mistakes that we can correct. The next thing we need to do is we're going to think about these questions. The questions about what have you done? Have you done these things that will help us to achieve that impact? So have you used the correct tense? Now we're writing about an event that happened in the past. We're writing about history, aren't we? So you're going to be using the past tense here, past simple tense. So have you used that correct tense all the way through, or have you slipped into some present tense? So that's a really important thing to check. Secondly, have you used the technical vocabulary, the historic vocabulary that you were given? So you had your word bank, and I think we've got our word bank at the bottom of the slides here. So a word bank of technical vocabulary. So have you used that? And not only have you used it, have you spelt it correctly? You've got the word bank there. So have you got the correct spellings of those words? And have you used them appropriately in the right place? Thirdly, have you used adverbials and subordinating conjunctions to help you to link your sentences together, to link your ideas together, to create that cohesion? Remember that flow of our writing. So we've got our subordinating conjunctions at the bottom of the page here that we've already had a look at. They show that cause and effect, the relationship between these events, how something happened and that led to something else happening. And then we've also got our adverbials of time, and we've got some more examples of those in the sentences that we gave you for each of the images as a starting point. So those adverbials of time, and that really help us to think about when these things were happening, helping your reader to understand when something happened. Finally, after you've done that, it's a really good idea to again check through for your spelling, thinking about those words that you might know you normally get wrong, or again those words that you rushed and you're not quite sure about. Perhaps if you've got a dictionary at home or on your computer, you could look that spelling up. And also with your sentence structure. Now in my class now I talk about this a lot. So thinking about our sentences. When have we used a full stop? Have we used it correctly? Remember, my class will be saying there's a sentence, for a sentence to need a full stop, it has to be a main clause. So it needs our subject and our verb. For example, he ran. But obviously your sentences are going to be more complex than that. Finally, what might be a really nice idea with this editing process is if you've got someone around at home, that somebody who's perhaps, got a moment to share your writing, you've got a moment to share your writing with, perhaps you could give them or look at the writer's toolbox with them and think about that impact on reader, and then share your work with them and ask them, does this have the impact on you as an audience, as a reader? Do you understand what's happened? Do you understand when it happened? And do you understand why it happened as well? So I think that's a really great start for our editing and improving, just like we would do in class. So we'd normally be sharing with our peers, with each other. But here you need to be reading out loud, thinking and referring back to that toolbox, and then perhaps being able to share that with somebody else who's around at home and see if you've achieved your impact with your writing. Now, remember, I said at the beginning, hopefully we're going to be putting these together into a scrapbook when we're all back together. So make sure this is a really good quality piece that you're proud of and you've thought and tried to use that vocabulary to link those ideas together and to really make sure that you've achieved your impact on your reader. We'll catch up next week and well done for your hard work this week.